What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. So the stock market finally sold off. It's about dang time, if you ask me. I've been waiting for this. We had the S&P down 0.5%, Dow down 0.4%, NASDAQ 100 down 1%, and the Russell went down 1.3%. So I want to break down some technicals in this video. We'll go over a bunch of stocks to buy now, and I also want to share with you all where I see the market going here in the short term and what I'm doing, as we are still a bit frothy overall. So if you guys find value, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That's greatly appreciated. You also could check out the free Discord chat, and you could get $30 also for free from M1 Finance. All of those are linked down below. So let's just get talking, guys, because this is a pullback that was much needed, and honestly, it wasn't even that much of a pullback. You may be saying, Stas, it barely pulled back, and I agree. It barely did pull back, but still, we saw some sort of drop today, which the market needed. If you guys saw the VIX earlier, it was up like 14%, 13% at one point. And you guys know the VIX has been at a super low point. I think it was at a 14-month low or something like that. And the VIX still closed up 6%. So, I mean, it was a volatile day overall, but again, at one point, at its highest point, you guys can see the VIX was at 1857, 1860, which that was a pretty big spike considering last week it was at 15. So we got a much needed pullback, but overall on this hourly chart, and I talked about this in my video earlier, if you guys missed that, go check that out. I'll link it down below, but I'll talk a little bit more about it here since we got more price action since that last video, right? We can see overall on the hourly chart, the uptrend is holding, and what we can see that we didn't see in my last video from earlier today, we actually found, it seems like in the very short term at least, we found a bottom on SPY. We didn't break much under 414. You guys can see we did go to 413.79, but it was literally for a couple minutes. It didn't even last. Then we got right back over 414. So I like the way on the intraday chart here, 414 is holding on SPY, and the fact that we ended up ripping up at the close of the market. You can see we went from 414, closed over 415, and we're still over 415 in the after hours session. And pulling up this 5-day 5-minute chart, you can see this looks like, and we don't know for sure yet, we'll see if we gap up tomorrow, but as of now, it looks like we're holding a higher low. This could very well be the dip we got before it ends up ripping up higher. You know, that could very well be what's happening, what's setting up right now. And of course, we'll see what the futures are looking like tonight. We'll see what everything's looking like pre-market. You know, if SPY's gapping up pre-market, let's say we go above 416, that's going to be a good sign that, yeah, maybe we do end up rallying and somehow getting back to those all-time highs. That would not be surprising. So that is what I'm watching really when it comes to SPY right now. And pulling up QQQ pulled back more than SPY. You can see it closed down about 0.9%. And what we notice here is, number one, we are holding the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart here. We have two green candlesticks forming on top of it. That means, yeah, people are buying up this dip. It looks like this could definitely be, and not for sure, we don't know for sure, but it could be the temporary dip we needed before it ends up just ripping up higher. So for tomorrow on QQQ, we must watch 338 to about 340. That is where we are now, and I believe if 340 can break, and you guys can see it here on the hourly chart, if 340 breaks, we end up taking out the EMA here, we could fill the gap up to about 342, maybe back to that all-time high at about 342.60. So by the looks of it, as of right now, and tomorrow pre-market is going to be huge, but as of now, we don't have that information, obviously, because we're not in the future. As of now, it looks like this was simply a pullback, and the bulls started to come in at the end of the day and buying up the dip as of now. And of course, we could always gap down further tomorrow. We could break the low from today, and that that means the bears would be in charge. And again, if we gap up, we break out. Let's say we take out 340 on QQQ, SPY ends up breaking above 416 or something. That would be the bulls taking charge, right? So what do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to know, as always, what your thoughts are. What are you seeing in the market, stocks you're watching? And by the way, if you have a list of stocks that you want me to mention on these videos, drop them down below. I'm thinking about, at the end of each video, maybe doing a couple of stocks that you guys request every single day in the comments. So shoot me a comment down below, your list of stocks, and I'll pick through them. And maybe starting these next couple of days, we might add a new segment to the end of the video. So if you guys would like that, let me know in the comments. And of course, feel free to subscribe if you want to see content like that. And if you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? Come on, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into these stocks. Number one is Clover Health, and I mentioned this morning in my Patreon, on my Patreon video. This is one that ended up going crazy recently, right? It's been seeing a crazy short squeeze. You guys can see a couple days ago it went up from 745 to about 990. Today it went up over 1050, and even a couple weeks ago, more towards the beginning, well, more like 10 days ago, in the beginning of April, it went up from about 720 to 935 that wasn't even the next day. It was that day after hours it got to that point. So needless to say, guys, this stock has been on fire. And do you remember a couple months ago, it was 2 months ago in February, Hindenburg filed a short report. They didn't file it. They came out with a short report that completely wrecked the stock. It went from $18 to $6. And it seems like 6 is the bottom, at least as of now. We didn't really get under $6 in March or April at all, right? So that's a good sign. And we're also breaking out of the moving averages. That's another good sign that this is the bottom. And did I mention the short interest? It's 35.7%. They have a very high short interest, and that is according to highshortinterest.com. So this is, in my opinion, we don't know for sure if it's going to squeeze again and again and again, but with the short interest of 35%, right? That's very high. This is definitely prone to a short squeeze. Let's just put it that way. And we've seen two already, a couple, at least 2, 3 in the past couple of weeks. And I could see more coming here over the next couple of weeks for sure, as long as that short interest remains as high as it is, of course. So Clover, I like it. And mind you guys, this is not for people that don't like volatility. If you can't stand volatility, if you can't stand a higher risk play, just don't even look at this. Skip this video or skip this part of the video. We'll talk about some safer ones later in the video, but if you do have some more risk, you want to chase a stock that's moving crazy, you could make some money. You know, Clover, hey, I'm looking at it. I didn't play it yet, but I'm very close to maybe throwing some fun money into Clover and see what it does over the next couple of months. But then again, that's kind of stupid, because if I don't really believe in Clover and I throw, let's say, $1,000 at it or $1,500, whatever, that's kind of like throwing money away at the end of the day if I don't truly believe in it. But hey, I mean, it's fun money for a reason. We might have to YOLO a little bit on this one, guys. We'll see how it goes. But what do you think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments about Clover. Facebook is one that I'm also looking at, and this is one that we called out a couple weeks ago. You guys remember, after it broke out of 280, this overall wedge here on the 4-hour, we called out the gap up to about 300. It did exactly that. Nice $20 per share move, equating to about 7-8%. And it broke out of 300, filled the gap to 307, which was that all-time high from a couple months ago. We hit 316, a fresh all-time high, and now we're pulling back again. We're down about $15 per share, down 5% from that all-time high. And the first level I'm looking at here to see if Facebook can hold is right around the high from early to, actually no, it was more middle of March at $300. We closed at 302 today, so I want to see, is 300 once an all-time high, right? Is this going to hold as a new support? And I think if we collapse under 300, which honestly, looking at this chart, guys, could happen. I mean, there is a little bit more downside in Facebook in the short term, in my opinion at least. We could see Facebook maybe touch 285, 290 again, right around this 180 moving average on the 4-hour chart. That could mean, yeah, there could be about $10, $15 per share downside from here, equating to maybe 5% more downside. That's on the lower end, in my opinion. That is where Facebook could go. And mind you, they have earnings coming up here on the 28th, so that's about 10 days away, 9 days away to be exact. So are they going to dump off and then see a rally into earnings? Are they going to rally into earnings from here, straight from here, and maybe not dump further? These are things that I'm looking for. And again, if 300, we break under that, that's going to be a sign that we might get some selling pressure into earnings, and that could very well be a dip buy if you think Facebook, and I don't do this a lot. You guys know I'm not a big buy before earnings and hope earnings are great and sell right after. I don't really do that. I used to sometimes. I lost some money doing that. I've made money. It's kind of like 50-50, but I don't do it much anymore at all. But if you did have conviction that Facebook was going to do well, it was pretty oversold, let's say at 285, 290 if it got down, and you want to buy before earnings, hey, you could do that. That might be a decent idea, but I'm not condoning it, and I'm not telling you to do that, of course. I mean, as always, guys, you have to do your own research. So that's Facebook. Earnings coming up here in 9 days. I'm pretty excited about that. Intuit is another one, INTU. This went down 3.3% today. RSI dumped aggressively today as well from 70 all the way down to about 40 here on the 4-hour chart. That's a pretty big dump on the RSI there. And like Facebook, guys, Intuit is probably going to see some more downside, or at least it could, right? It could maybe go to about 390. I'd say 380 on the lower end. 380 would be the support of this channel on the 4-hour chart here, and 390 to 395 would be right around the moving averages. So are we going to hold the moving averages? If not, we're going to go to 380, and I think this general area from 380 to about 400, I think this could be a nice opportunity to add some shares on the dip. And of course, if we completely break out, or rather break under the channel, I'm not going to pay attention to it anymore. At that point, the uptrend would be broken, and we could see more downside from there, which would make me a bit worried. So I'm not going to touch it at that point. But as of now, this is simply a healthy pullback after we just hit an all-time high at almost $424 per share. So INTU, I like it. I'm watching the dip. I'm monitoring it. And we saw Altria today, and a bunch of tobacco-oriented stocks, they got absolutely hammered. And Altria, I believe, got hit the most. And you guys know I am in Altria, ticker symbol MO here, as a long-term investment. I've been in this one for about 2 years at this point, and I'm actually up a lot on that position. To be honest, I mean, not too much. I mean, I got in at my average cost is $40 in my account that I own Altria, and it's now at $49. And mind you guys, they pay a juicy dividend, 6-7%, something like that. So I've owned this for about 2 years. I'm up 20% on the shares, and I've been making dividend money as well. So I've been doing well in this position, and they're getting completely slammed today, right? Today, the Biden administration is contemplating lowering nicotine content in cigarettes, and the Wall Street Journal reported that the White House may require all cigarettes in the U.S. to contain nicotine levels that are no longer addictive. The move comes out as the FDA must decide before the end of the month whether or not it will pursue action to ban menthol cigarettes, and according to anonymous sources close to the situation, the administration may push for either a menthol ban, a nicotine reduction, or both. And of course, guys, this is going to hurt the tobacco stocks. We have Altria, we have Philip Morris, PM. This probably went down, 1.3%. And going back to Altria, this went down about 6%. So this got completely slammed. And looking on this 4-hour chart, guys, we can see it's very oversold now. This was a massive sell-off. And on the intraday chart, it was just, gosh, guys, that was a cliff. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is a cliff dive, right? It went from 52 to about 48 very, very quickly. Now it's down even more after market hours. So we have to see and monitor what's going to happen with this. We have to keep an eye on the Biden administration, everything in terms of news around this subject, right? and we'll see if it has weight to it or if it's just a bunch of fluff as of now. And in my thoughts, it might have some weight to it. I think there could be some implications here, and if so, maybe Altria sells off for an extended period of time. But if this doesn't have any weight to it, maybe we consolidate and just bounce right back up. So what do you guys think? Will this bounce back? Will it sell off more? Again, I'm just holding on to my position, but I'd love to know what you think down below in the comments. We had Tesla TSLA today. Let's see how Tesla did. Down another 3.4%. And we had some news around a Texas accident today, which people are saying it was believed to be driverless. People were saying it was a malfunction. People are saying there's no way it's a malfunction. We're not going to get into that in this video. But Tesla did shed today, 3.4%, down $25 per share. And that is the reason why it sold off. And you can see after hours, it's up to $7.21. It's up $7 a share after hours. So that's a good sign that this was simply a dip. And we'll see. I mean, I believe overall, Tesla is going to shake, well, the stock itself, it's going to shake this off. And I mean, I'm very sorry, and condolences go out to people that were hurt and lost their lives. That's terrible. But the truth is, I think the stock is going to bounce back. And if we do end up taking out 730, you guys can see this 5-day, 5-minute downtrend. You can see the, the downtrend resistance. If we break 730, 735, we're going to be right back off to the races. I believe we'll fill the gap up to about 780 at that point. So there could be about 5-6% upside from here when it comes to Tesla. And that's a very strong move coming after hours. Was there a catalyst or something? Okay, I'm seeing some news that just came out. Tesla crash believed to be driverless. That draws investigation. Okay, fourth update. It was an update. So probably an update regarding that. Maybe I'll look more into this afterwards. So that's probably the reason why we are seeing the spike up. So we'll monitor Tesla tomorrow, see how that goes down. And again, I think if it breaks the wedge, there could be some upside in this stock in the short term. AbbVie, ABBV, they report earnings coming up. We saw a nice green day on AbbVie today, up 0.7%. They report on the 30th of this month. So we're going to be watching AbbVie in this wedge. You can see we're right by my price alert at 109. I think if we could break 109, guys, there's going to be some upside to about 111 at first, which was the high from the middle of March, right, at about 111. Then if that were to break, I believe 114 is next, 113 at least, which from where we are now, that gives this about 3 to 4% upside. That is for AbbVie, ABBV, and they do end up paying out a dividend soon. And like I always mention, guys, when stocks pay out dividends, they typically go down what the dividend is. Then they typically, not always, but they tend to bounce back afterwards unless there's a catastrophic crash in the market or they're a negative catalyst around the company. But typically, if it's a good company, it pays a dividend, the stock drops that day, it pays the dividend, and then it slowly recovers after the next couple of weeks or days, whatever, depending on the company. So we'll see what happens there with AbbVie. And the last one for today is a Bitcoin play, MSTR, also known as MicroStrategy. This went down 8%, down 56%, as a lot of the Bitcoin plays got slammed today. Mara down 9%, Riot down 8%, Coinbase ended up going down about 2.6%. So I'm watching MicroStrategy here at about 640, 635 to see if it can hold the support of the wedge at this point. I believe if it could, and it's already oversold, guys, and earnings are coming up here in 8 days. I think if we could hold about 635, 640, I believe there could be some upside to maybe 720, right under that 180 moving average, and upwards to $800. And that is a big swing, but just understand, if Bitcoin gets hot, so does MSTR. They own a crap ton of Bitcoin, so watch out for Bitcoin. This could be a way to play it and make a lot of money when it comes to a stock in the short term, at least. who knows what's going to happen long term with this. I would never buy this long term. That's just for me, guys. I'd rather just buy Bitcoin than buy MicroStrategy, but that's just me, and I'm not knocking anybody that owns this stock. Again, this is just my opinion. All of this is my opinion. This is not financial advice, and you all must do your own research, and we'll end it off there. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. That's greatly appreciated. Check out my video from earlier today. I'll link that video down below, and if you guys want to join the Strive Smart Discord chat, that's free. You could also get $30 from M1 Finance by simply using my link, depositing $100, and you get $30 to invest with, and all of those are linked down below. Same with my Patreon if you want real-time buy and sell alerts, my moves I'm making in the markets, call-outs, daily morning update videos, and if you want more access to me throughout the day, that is on Patreon. And again, all of those are linked down below. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, you guys mean a lot to me. Stay safe out there. Keep crushing the markets, guys. Peace out.